Welcome back. Well, as I promised last week, this week we are going to discuss kitsch. Uh, we're going to talk about what it is and why it's valuable information for us to have uh, just going through our daily lives and as resellers. So stay tuned. We'll get into it when we get back. Okay. How about a little bit of English as she is spoke before we get started? And most of you already know this book was written in 1855 by a couple of Portuguese gentlemen. They spoke no English. They didn't even have an English-Portuguese dictionary. They were making do with an English-French dictionary and a French-Portuguese dictionary. So this is sort of third-hand translation, and did not stop them. They came up with this practical little handy traveler's guide so that Portuguese-speaking people could go into the English-speaking world and fit in just like natives. Now, the section I'm going to read from today is from Familiar Phrases, and it appears to be the How to Pick Up Women section. I'm not really sure about that, but bear with me. I think you'll see the thread I'm picking up here. Give me some good milk, very newly got out. Exculpate me by your brothers. Tomorrow I shall be entirely her master or unoccupied. Tell me yes or non. Why you are so melancholy? How many times shall you be in return? And my also. She do not that to talk and to cackle. She do not tell me nothing. Listen to, come hither. She do know me. Are you in the bed yet? Awake you? Is it she dressed? She are both very fine. Go in the boat. Are you tired? Come us in this thicket. Are you bind with him? Yeah. So as you can see, I think this was the How to Pick Up Women section, and I would also venture to guess it's probably not producing much success. So, kitsch. Well, kitsch is a German word, and the concept comes to us from the 1930s, straight from the German. And the word kitsch means to cover over or to smear over. And it was used in contrast to the art of the avant-garde period. So the avant-garde art was really bleeding edge, very intellectual art, and the counterpoint to that was the overly sentimental art that the Germans were calling kitsch. Came into the United States, into the English-speaking world, I should say, not just us. Everybody seems to have gotten that. Came over directly as kitsch. And now the dictionary definition of kitsch is something without any artistic merit, gaudy, tawdry, overly sentimental, and the second part of the definition, but sometimes appreciated in an ironic or knowing sort of way. Well, that's the interesting part, because the first part of that definition is sort of collapsing in on itself, and the second part is expanding. Kitsch used to be a very, very derogatory term, and now kitsch is starting to come into its own. People are actually beginning to appreciate kitsch for its own sake, as within its own artistic aesthetic. So let's take a look at what kitsch is. And what I have for you is a group of images that include some things that are classic kitsch. You say kitsch, things that come to mind are pink flamingos, those cats with the little swinging tails and their clocks and the eyes go back and forth, and these little sentimental pseudo-Hummel figurines, things like that. So let's take a look at classic kitsch. Okay, there you have it. Um, the thing is, the clocks that I showed, by the way, were reproductions. You get one of those original clocks and you can find them at thrift stores, antique stores. This is, it's not fine art. So it's going to show up in the dark and dirty corners. The originals sell for serious money. So when you find this sort of great old kitsch stuff, oh, grab it, because you can usually get it cheap and sell it dear because there's a whole market for this. So what is the point of kitsch now? Why do people appreciate it? Well, kitsch, well, actually, let me backtrack a bit. Years ago, when I was just young and starting out, and my home was full of art and antiques and all kinds of stuff, and people would come in and they'd look around and they'd stand in the doorway and say, oh no, that's okay. I don't need to come in. I don't need to sit down. I'll stand right here, because it was intimidating, because all of the silks and the velvets and the Victorian furniture, and they were just like, I don't want to touch that. So I had to do something about it. So I want to show you a bit of my own kitchen. Well, frankly, I'm showing you a bit of my own kitchen. I didn't realize it until I looked at the screen. I'm showing you a bit of my own kitchen right now. Right over here, I have World War II era sweetheart pillows. That's, let me grab that. Classic kitsch, World War II sweetheart pillows. This sentimental, this is like some sort of mom and dad poem. Come on. And it's not just here, it's over on the East Lake settee, because it brings a sense of humor, of whimsy into a room that otherwise might be just a little stuffy and obnoxious otherwise. But what I want to show you is the bookcase behind me. So take a look. I'll show you what's on top of that bookcase, and I think some of it might surprise you. Okay, so we start off, and I just went from right to left. Um, an antique rose medallion vase. We've got a little antique Chinese hand-carved rosewood bowl. The pair of paintings, well, they're not paintings, they're charcoal sketches, are by Maryland artist Shiny Kadipoli. I love them. They're beautiful. They're just charcoal studies of piles of burlap, which I suppose is enough of a sense of humor all by itself, but I do love them. And then we've got a little antique Moroccan box, another rose medallion vase, and then we go right into the middle, and we've got a little walnut and pipe cleaner, man-eating plant with fangs sitting in a Limoges teacup. I love the juxtaposition of these things. And okay, that'll be our word of the day. It's not going to be kitsch today. It's going to be juxtaposition because it's a simple word. Juxtaposition comes to us from the French. Originally it's Latin, but we get it through the French. And it just means next to, side by side. So juxta is next to, and obviously position is in the next place over. It's two contrasting things that are set side by side. So for me, it's the art and antiques with that silly little plant under the cloche. It's not even a real plant. It's just some little art piece with a walnut with little teeth. And, I mean, the name is Audrey, of course. So it's Audrey, my little man-eating plant. You need some whimsy in your room. And I do that all over the place. If there's a collection of porcelain here, I'll have like a little radiometer in the middle of it. And when the sun hits this, these little flags spin around. Children love it. This is something you can sit a child down in front of this thing, and when the sun is catching those flags, they'll just sit there all day long. It's like, how is that happening? It works on cats too. I am a big believer in whimsy in your space. Doesn't have to be a lot, but you need something. I need something um, because I have a lot of antiques and stuff like that. And it can be intimidating, especially for people who are not used to antiques. And they look at that and they say, oh, this is giving me the willies. I want to get out of here. Or, I shouldn't touch this. What if I break it? I'm sure it's expensive, because they don't realize how little I pay for this stuff. Things like this make your home more inviting, and they show up a little personality. And that's how kitsch started coming into its own. People began to say, let's do something humorous in this room. Let's add something a little unexpected. So that is the great use for kitsch when we want to do our own decorating. In terms of reselling, oh my goodness, the prices that some of these little bits of kitsch can get are amazing. And we know this from things like Scooby-Doo lunch boxes. That's pure kitsch. If you find some great old lunch boxes from the 50s or 60s, there's a whole collector's market, and they will pay top dollar for these things. When I showed you the first batch of kitsch images, I threw in one of the Margaret Keane paintings. And I'm sure those of you who've heard me speak about Margaret Keane before know that this is not art. Okay, that's as kind as I'm going to get to poor Miss Keane. Not art at all. Absolutely no artistic merit in this stuff whatsoever. Big-eyed moppets. She was knocking those paintings out one an hour, and they're junk. They're trash. I don't even know how they caught on in the first place. When I think about that, I think about pet rocks. Just anything will catch on. But a Margaret Keane painting recently sold for over $12,000 And it's not even the highest price one of her paintings fetched. So clearly some people are seeing value in this, and it has got to be the kitsch factor, because it's certainly not the art factor, because that's one that I think everyone is in agreement on. I don't think there's anybody who takes that seriously as art. But there seems to be a fine line, and I don't always know where that line is drawn. Because on one hand, we've got Margaret Keane and the wide-eyed moppets, and I can look at that and say, well, that's not art. Yeah, I know somebody paid $12,000 for it, still don't make it art. On the other hand, almost everybody would agree that Andy Warhol paints a soup can, and that is art. Not sure how that happened. By the way, that was 11 million. He recently, his estate, I assume, recently sold one of his soup cans for $11 million. It's a picture of a can of soup. I look at that, and whatever artistic merit is in that painting is lost on me. I will be honest with you. And it's not as if I despise all modern art or I don't like pop art or whatever. It's just that I never quite got that leap. So the line is fine. And I know I do not always know the difference between art and junk. Absolutely, Margaret Keane's is junk. Absolutely, Warhol's is art. But I only know that because that's basically somebody told me Warhol is valuable. If you had left me to my own devices and someone handed me one of those $11 million can of soup paintings, well, I don't know. I might have tossed it in the trash. That's an awful thing to admit. But that is the truth. A lot of art, it's just the value is escaping me. But we know to look for some of these things. We know to recognize some of these things. And some of them are just plain fun. Others, you look at it and you know it's going to resonate with a certain generation. Those Marvin the Martian glasses that I showed, Kitsch, sure, that's something that's going to resonate with the generation that grew up with cartoon characters, especially if they are original, if they are from the 60s when these cartoons were out. Yes, you grab them, they are saleable. So when you start to look at items in the thrift stores, take a close look at the items that are kitschy. If you can find something that is going to resonate, is going to be popular. And remember, when you're out shopping here, right here, take your phone with you. Go online. Check eBay sales prices on these things, which thanks to smartphones, we can do on the fly now. You can just go right in eBay, throw the information in. Don't dismiss it out of hand. Look at what it's selling for, because you could really be surprised. Something that you remember as, oh, my kid brother had that lunchbox. Oh, that could have a very serious value to a collector's market. So that's what we need to look at when we think about kitsch. And as I say, for ourselves, don't be afraid of the kitsch. Don't, and we all have it. One of the things that comes to mind is, you go into grandma's house and you get that plaster handprint from little Billy, and and he signed it on the bottom, and the B is backwards, and he only got one L, but hey, he's 3 years old, it's quite an accomplishment. Don't be afraid to mix that in with the porcelain collection. Don't. It adds a little whimsy to what might otherwise be a very dull, boring collection of porcelain, and it has sentimental value. Incorporate this stuff. We've all got it. But we can be very much afraid or embarrassed to show it off because we're afraid people are going to think it's lowbrow or whatever. Oh, to heck with what they think. A little whimsy is fun. It's a good thing. So I want to show you one more thing before we sign off today, and that is our next giveaway. And this giveaway came to us from Alex Maga, who won one of our other giveaways. By the way, I've noticed this happens. People will win a giveaway and say, I just want to pay this forward. I got something. Let's just give something to someone else. And this is a beautiful pin. I hate to include it in the Kitsch video because I really don't think it's Kitsch. It's a beautiful lucite pin. Probably came from the 1950s. I'm going to show you some pictures. It's a bird. It's very lovely. And it's one of the things that appeals to me about this pin is it's got a beautiful little Art Deco look. And the reason I'm including this in the Kitsch video is the whimsy factor. This pin is just whimsical. It's great. And we're coming into the cold weather season, and this is the sort of pin that would just look fabulous on a coat. So this is going to be our next giveaway. All you need to do to enter the giveaway is just in the comments, just say, I want that pin, I want that bird, whatever you want, I'll figure it out. Let me know, and we will do a drawing in a week. Again, I'll probably let the cat do it. That was rather successful last time, and the cat seems to actually enjoy picking people's names off the screen. It's because he likes anything that moves on the screen, but hey. So that is our next giveaway. And, pictures. Here are the pictures of the pin, so we can be clear about that. Okay. Now, also, if you want to get in touch, and I say this in the notes in the video all the time, leave a comment on the videos. There is no point in trying to track down email addresses for me. My spam filters are astounding. So 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to get the email to begin with. So you want to get in touch, leave a note in the comments. I always read my comments, but if you've managed to track down an email address, there is a very good chance I won't even get the email. So this is the contact channel, comments under the video. Okay, now I want to get this video off. I want to do this a little shorter than I've been because, as you know, some of my videos have been getting a little excessive in the length, and I know you guys have a life. So we're going to cut this off and have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do a haul video, and I'm not sure what format I'm going to do. So it'll be a haul video of some sort. Format's not yet clear to me. All right. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you later.